As it was with the consolidation, the Lehigh Valley Railroad once again pointed the way to an original wheel alignment and steam locomotive design. In 1883, George Strong made a trip to Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. The purpose of Strong's trip was to interest Alexander Mitchell, the consolidation locomotive principal designer, in his plans for a 4-4-2 wheel alignment and thus, a new class of passenger locomotive. The trip did not go well for Strong and his new locomotive design. Mitchell felt the plans held too many untried features, such as a pair of tubular fireboxes set side by side of each other. These fireboxes would connect to a single boiler. Also unusual, the plan included the use of 2 sets of lightweight main rods, each driving a pair of traction wheels. The design also incorporated the use of steam valves Mitchell was unfamiliar with. Ultimately, Mitchell rejected Strong's design, but did use the steam valves in a 440 wheel design locomotive of his own. Undaunted and with the support of New Jersey financier A.G. Darwin, Strong continued to push for the adoption of his unusual locomotive design. Strong succeeded in getting 2 locomotives built. One, the Darwin, which in 1887 was produced by the Hinckley Locomotive Company in Boston, had a long and rather unsuccessful career as a prototype locomotive. The other, built by Schenectady in 1888, was sold to the Atchison, Topeka and Santa Fe Railroad. Strong's pioneer design bears mentioning as his 2 442 locomotives preceded by 6 years, the ultimate design that changed passenger locomotives forever, which became the Atlantic. Strangely enough, the name, Atlantic, which still today refers to the 442 wheel-aligned locomotives, did not originate with the Atlantic City Railroad's 442 wheel design of 1893. It was known as the Camelback. Instead, the name Atlantic was given to a rather unattractive 1893 designed 442 locomotive built for the Atlantic Coast Line Railroad, a railroad that ran southward into Florida. Both the Atlantic City Railroad's Camelback and the Atlantic Coast Line's Atlantic were known to run at unheard-of speeds in excess of 90 miles per hour. There were several unsubstantiated reports that these 442s often exceeded 100 miles per hour. The Atlantic City Flyer 442 was the fastest train in the world during its time. Paying due attention to this new type of passenger locomotive, now dubbed the Atlantic, the intensely fierce and competitive Pennsylvania Railroad would not be undone by the 2 railroads just to their south, those of which who also encroached into their service area, namely, Philadelphia. In 1899, the Altoona Locomotive Works produced its first 2 Atlantic-type 442 locomotives for the Pennsylvania Railroad. Both had a larger grate area of 68 square feet than what was shortly to become the standard 55.5-foot grate area in all Atlantic locomotives built afterward. The following specifications used for the Atlantic 442 are those attributed to the Pennsylvania Railroad's Class C3 locomotives. Total weight, 363,500 pounds. Tractive effort, 27,400 pounds. Cylinders, 2 at 22 by 26 inches each. Main driver wheels, 80 inches. Steam pressure, 205 psi. Coal capacity, 34,200 pounds. Water capacity, 5,660 gallons. Length, 71 feet 6 inches. Horsepower, unknown. Best estimates were between 4,000 and 4,500. There were an unknown total of 442 locomotives built nationwide. However, the Atchison, Topeka and Santa Fe Railroad had the most built for them at 178 total units. Other railroads built many on the 442 wheel design, but renamed it to make it its own. One famous type was the Milwaukee Roads Hiawatha Streamline 442. On June 15, 1902, Pennsylvania Railroad's 442 Class E2 Atlantic numbered 7002, set a record that is still questioned to this day, as the all-time fastest steam locomotive in United States railroad history. Number 7002 was claimed to have achieved 127.1 miles per hour, 204.5 kilometers per hour, near Alida, Ohio. This speed was based solely on 2 passing times recorded by separate observers, at 2 different points. Also, it is difficult to obtain even a general indication of a train's speed from the signal box registers of that period. Another point in question was the mere 3 miles of separation between the observers who determined the 127.1 miles per hour speed. Supporting the notion that the number 7002 actually did, in fact, achieve this record speed was the fact that the train had departed the Crestview, Ohio station 25 minutes late, yet arrived on time to its destination in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Also, for a brief period in the 1940s, the 7002's speed record was being touted as the true holder of the world's record for the highest achieved speed in a steam locomotive. A title newly bestowed upon the English Mallard locomotive, which was marked as achieving 132 miles per hour. The argument being made that the Mallard achieved the feat on a track that had a slight downgrade for long stretches. The Mallard's record stood, and the 7002's 127.1 miles per hour remains the official, if not unofficial, record holder for speed in the United States. What do you think of the 7002's recorded record speed? Should it remain as the fastest speed ever achieved in United States steam locomotive history? Or do you believe the record is truly tarnished and should not stand? Should the Mallard's world record come back under scrutiny and the 7002's record replaces it? Let us know in the comments below. Sadly and inexplicably, the Pennsylvania Railroad scrapped its record speed-setting Atlantic, number 7002 in 1935. Realizing the error that they had made, the Pennsylvania Railroad sought to rectify the situation by taking Atlantic number 8063 in hand in 1939. 8063 was renumbered 7002 and altered to appear like the original 7002 once did. The new 7002 was then placed on exhibit as the world's fastest steam engine at the 1939 New York World's Fair and the Chicago Railroad Fair in 1948-49. Today, Pennsylvania Railroad's current Atlantic 442 number 7002 can be viewed on display at the Railroad Museum of Pennsylvania, located in Strasburg, Pennsylvania. Also, if you are in Pennsylvania, I highly recommend a visit to Steamtown National Railroad Museum located in Scranton, Pennsylvania. It is my opinion that the Steamtown Museum is the finest railroad museum in the United States, and a for sure must visit if you are a railroad fan. One thing is for sure about the Atlantic 442 steam locomotive. It is the locomotive type that ushered in what is considered the modern designs of steam locomotives, culminating with the last steam locomotive ever built by the Norfolk and Western Railroad, a 080-wheeled switcher in 1953. The Atlantic is also the locomotive that forever changed the dynamics of passenger train performance expectations. The Atlantic truly holds the honored distinction as one of the most pioneering steam locomotives in world history. Its legacy will stand as such, even if it was, or was not, the United States speed record holder. Thank you for watching my video. If you enjoyed our artwork of the Atlantic 7002 in the presentation, please help support our channel by visiting our print shop located at Nickel Plate Limited on Etsy. There you can view these art prints and many more locomotives, along with several other topics of interest. The links can be found near the comments section as well as on the header of our profile. Also, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Turn on all notifications to ensure that you see all of our new videos. This will greatly help our channel to grow. Thank you once again.